Okay, so if we look at these two swings, as we obviously agreed in the session that we want to have one swing really, or one swing thought, rather than a swing thought for your wedges, a swing thought for your short irons and your mid irons, and then having that confusion really where that kind of breakdown sort of splits, where you sort of, your long irons become your short irons, become your mid irons. So ideally speaking there, John, we want to feel the club working on one angle around your body. But as the club changes, the length of club being shorter or longer, the swing will perceive to look different, because the angle you're swinging that stick on will be different based on the club length, not just you making different swings. This one here on the right hand side, what's on the left hand side, as you go back, you get to about halfway, not too bad here, club's going back nicely, decent takeaway. We kind of stall the lower half now, and then the arms and do the lifting, but because they haven't turned your body, your arms now get very, very high, very much above your shoulder plane there, and that's going to come down very, very steep on the golf ball. And what we will then see coming down on this left hand side now, as you start unwinding the body because you haven't wound it back enough, the club now just before impact very much outside the path of the golf ball, sending that path way to the left, and probably get that weak pushy cut. If you release the club correctly from here, you'll be in a golf ball that just exit way left. I think your instincts are going to sort of take over as you're coming into impact there, and think, crikey, I don't want that pulley hooky one. So you kind of hang on to it, hit that weak pushy one. Like I say, with a short iron, that kind of punchy held off finish can work okay because of the loft. You're not going to get that much of a cut. It'll go a little bit weaker to the right, but because of the better contact you're possibly getting, it might actually go a bit further. So working on your swing now, I think in terms of the practice, what we want to try to feel now is a much more flatter around your body swing. You see here now in terms of this takeaway, you've turned this right hip a lot deeper. So when your arms do the lifting, they're now working across your shoulders much better. If we compare those two, we go back to that one there, see where your arms are there in relation to the one on the right hand side there. Now you can see a much kind of more around your body movement on this right hand side, much better sort of shoulder turn, and that's where the club's gone a little bit across the line. Generally indication, obviously, when you turn more, your arms are doing more of a work previously to get the club up there. Now you're turning better, the arms don't need to work quite so much, but that's something you can sort of get with a bit of practice over time. But generally speaking, we want to get that sensation that we're turning that right side here. We can see your right shoulder now and hip just opening and closing that door, as we discussed, getting that club working more behind you in a much more kind of flatter around the body position. Now from here, as the club will come back, we're going to deliver that club much more into that, much more from that angle, shallower rather than being over the top. So you want to practice that sensation there, almost turning that right hip as much as you can. Then, as we said before, when you get to the golf ball, your thoughts now just hit that golf ball. All your prep work and practice stuff is going to be done before the swing, before the shot, and that's when your thinking and your feeling take place. Then we put the ball in the way. We can see now the left arm a little bit higher, which is to be expected, but not as high as obviously the real shot. And as the club now starts coming into that golf ball, just before impact here, we can see that club now, the left-hand side of the golf ball, in comparison to before. Let me bring this golf club down. That club shaft now outside the golf ball. So hands are much more into your body there, not because you're trying to do that, just because you've turned and rotated your hip better, so you've got the club deeper. All these things are kind of a byproduct of a better turn. So we're not trying to think about all these positions. The only swing thought really now in terms of your practice swing thoughts is just turn that right side more on the back, so you get that club deeper, and that's going to change and transform kind of both swing plane and your angle of attack. Get that ball flying towards the screen there, and again a nice balanced swing through into that follow through. So working on that movement here now, okay, from the top. We did discuss obviously that sort of shift here to the left hand side. Sometimes when we talk about that sort of movement at the top, you missed out one of those stages, didn't really shift to that left side early enough. For me, I'd work on getting that club working flatter to start with, and then once that swing sort of feeling more comfortable with that better turn, then we can start moving the body differently on the way down. So one thing at a time was obviously the case, is going to be the best way of progressing. But yeah, the sensation, right hip, right shoulder, opening and closing the door on the way back, as we said, turning out the way, and then when the ball's in the way there, John, just focus on hitting the golf ball, not actually trying to change your swing during the shot. So work on those couple of things, and any questions, obviously give me a shout, and I will see you soon. Cheers, buddy.